Good morning. I'm going to read for my beautiful Virgos, the Virgins. This is Lady Scarlet, and I have decided, knowing two Virgos very, very well, that I'm going to read with the Star Trek deck. Many of you know that when you were younger, you may have thought in a very black and white kind of way. And so my husband's a Virgo. I called him Spock for a long time when we were first together. So it's kind of a little inside joke between us. No offense. It's just a kind of a cute little joke. And I also really love Star Trek. So I'm going to use my Star Trek deck. I love it very much. And I do general readings, so this will be general. So relationships might come up, money might come up, career, other kinds of relationships. Remember that, I read gender and sexuality very fluidly. So if you are in relationships with multiple people, I'll try to look for those trends. So we have the full moon in Leo happening. I did meditate for a little bit on these cards and did some pre-shuffling. Also, I know that, Virgos have been coming into some really interesting energy lately. And because Virgo is an earth sign, you share some qualities with my fellow Taurian folks. I'm a Taurus, and so we share a lot of qualities, really practical. There's some stubbornness there as well with my Virgos, and so in fact, two of the people closest to me are Virgos, so I know them, quite well. Really analytical and sciency, love art and culture, really explorers, really love knowledge, and find beauty in art. Carefully consider taking risks, but aren't adverse to risks. Slow and cautious in relationships and those kinds of things. So don't always give their hearts away easily. They like to take it slow. So, when you have the love of a Virgo, it's generally a long lasting kind of love, because they carefully consider who they give their heart away to. So it's a pretty special relationship if you have a Virgo that loves you. But they usually have pretty healthy boundaries too. So one other thing is they have a loyalty to family that sometimes can really get them into trouble, because their boundaries are a lot softer with family. So a lot of times they feel very obligated to family and can often get hurt by family, because they'll just give and give and give in a lot of ways. So I admire that in Virgos. This is a really good base read, let me tell you, for the Virgos. At the bottom, there's the Hierophant upside down, which tells me that maybe you're bucking tradition lately, or questioning some of those values or ethics. Or maybe the Lovers is right under that, so maybe you are questioning a relationship that you have been in long. That would be a long-term relationship. Maybe there's a timing issue or something like that. Some hidden information. There's the High Priestess here. It very well could be education too. You know, the Hierophant is about study, the High Priestess is about learning. So maybe some seeds have been planted. There's a choice that you're making about education, even though that's kind of leaning towards a love situation. It very well could be a love of learning and kind of trying to decide to maybe learn something different or go into some kind of new career field or something like that. So it very well could be that as well, but we'll dig in and see what we find in here with my beautiful Star Trek deck. I would show you my Star Trek tattoo, but it's on my back. I have a big Star Trek tattoo on my back. I am an old fan of all of Star Trek. Um, Voyager being my favorite. This deck is mostly has TNG in it, but if you're a Trek fan, and I know a lot of Virgos that are. So, the very first card is the Five of Cloaks, which is the Five of Wands. So, Taurus also had the Five of Wands as the first card, which is the current or near past spot. So there may have been some kind of conflict that you've been involved in. You know, judging by those cards at the bottom of the deck, it's some decision you've been making that is more of an internal conflict than an external conflict. So we'll clarify, and I think let's balance the science with the supernatural deck, because we always have to balance science and spirituality, right? So let's balance the two and clarify with the supernatural deck and see what we have come up. What's this conflict? You know, I also see the Nine of Cups is upside down in the home spot. And so this is the Nine of Cups. It's the Nine of Starships. And so, you know, are you feeling like your cups are empty? That might suggest that some of you are going through some difficulty in a relationship, or, you know, maybe you feel like your wishes aren't being granted, or, you know, maybe you're feeling just depleted. It could be a lot of things. Maybe some isolation or some thinking. The Hanged Man right here in the near future spot. And Knight of Swords in this current to near future spot. So that's some fast moving energy coming in pretty quickly. It could be the resolution of that conflict that you're facing or have faced. But also, Ace of Pentacles coming in near future ish. So that's something to look forward to. And then the fastest moving card in tarot, right? The Chariot. So, Chariot in the outcome, you know, we'll look to see if that is a positive or negative thing. But so far, this is actually looking pretty good. But I think maybe you've been in your head a lot, which, you know, wouldn't be out of the ordinary for my Virgos. You tend to be introspective, so it's not shocking that you would have, you know, the Hanged Man. Want to say thank you, spirit guides, ancestors, and angels. Can you please clarify this Five of Wands for my Virgos? Okay, so you've got the Three of Wands. First off, Three of Wands is, you know, something coming towards you. And so it's almost like you're anticipating a conflict or anticipating a struggle with something. And then the Page of Cups upside down. So it's like a message that you would not love to receive, or somebody coming to you that's depleted, or something like that. There's also the Nine of Swords. So that's, you know, anxiety, worry. Um, so it might be a series of messages that you've been receiving, or a series of, you know, maybe it's unexpected bills or financial situations that keep occurring. There's also, you know, the Hierophant card coming out, where, you know, I think you are kind of questioning some some ways that you've been thinking about things. You know, you could be questioning faith, you could be questioning values, you could be questioning a relationship and maybe what you've put into it, because Virgos put a lot into their relationships. And I mean, they're earth signs, so they, you know, are steadfast and loyal and grounded and practical, and they think through things and take a lot of consideration. So and then you have the world upside down. So, you know, so for some reason your world's been turned upside down over some kind of, you know, I still feel like this is an internal conflict. So if it is a relationship struggle, you haven't really talked about it with your partner yet. It's been internal, or it could be that you have talked about it with your partner. Maybe there's already been a discussion and one of you's already made a decision, but you're still having a lot of internal struggle. And I will say with the Virgos that I know, they're going to continue to think about it for a long time. And they're going to think about all the things that maybe, because think about the way that Virgos communicate. They carefully consider what they say and then they worry over what they said. Did I say it the right way? Should I have said it differently? They're going to talk to their friends about it and say, could I have said this better? They're the kind that will write a text, delete it, write a text, delete it, to make sure that their words are exactly what they want to say. They're generally pretty impeccable with their words. So, you know, if that's the stress, you know, remember, we can't really change anything that we've already done, and we can't change anything that hasn't happened yet. So I just feel like your world feels a little topsy turvy, like it just doesn't feel stable for you, and that's a dangerous place for a Virgo to be, when they don't feel that their world is stable, and that they like to know what to expect, right? That's why they don't just they're not generally very impulsive. Um, they like to carefully consider. So um, thank you, spirit guides, angels, and ancestors. Can we clarify this Nine of Cups in reverse, please, for our Virgos? So, Nine of Pentacles upside down. Well, I will tell you what. If you've been having financial difficulty and you're a Virgo, Virgos, much like Taurus, like to know that they have a backup plan financially. They like to have money in the bank. But Queen of Swords here, so, you know, and this is your energy. So um, this is you thinking clearly and budgeting. You know, Virgos like to have a financial plan. Okay, my husband has a financial plan out for like 6 years, and he has, like, for the last 30 years, he's had an Excel sheet with the budget planned out. These are the kinds of folks who have financial advisors, okay, and accountants, and they go to an accountant to do their taxes. They don't do them on TurboTax generally, you know, like they know where their money is and where it's going. They know how to move money around to their benefit. And so you are thinking clearly about what you need to do. Ten of Pentacles in reverse. You do not feel like your money is where it should be. And so you are currently planning on how to make that better. Moving money around, figuring out how you can invest it better or budget better, or maybe how you could spend more efficiently. You know, Virgos are also the kind of people who they will take care of their home. Like, they would rather spend more for quality work, right? Or they're going to research, and do it themselves to save money, knowing that they're going to do quality work because they trust that they're going to be very, that they're going to take into consideration how to do it right and safely and all of those things. Like, my husband will do that. He will research to death how to do something, and, you know, he's a perfectionist, so it's going to be perfect, right? So um those things are going on for you. You're thinking about, I'm going to DIY, right? And how do I do that the most economical way possible? Um, and so I just feel there's a whole sense of you being so in your head right now and really focused much like the Taurians in the read that I just did, so focused on your financial situation, and and really maybe you were involved with someone, or had some love experiences, and you've decided not to focus on that, but focus more instead on um, solidifying yourself with your career and finances. And if you do have a family and that's not a stress for you, you have the family, kids, and all of those things, or maybe you're retired and you're thinking about how to, you're on a fixed income, and so you're more concerned about saving because you have a limited income. You're considering, how do I learn how to do some of these things so I'm saving that money, right? But your mind is really focused on stability and legacy, right? And building that structure and foundation for yourself so that it's less of a stress for you. Because when you're stable there, then you can focus on the luxury part, right? The leisure and social stuff. Because Virgos like to balance their social life with time alone. Virgos, a lot of them are introverts, and they really do need um, time alone to recharge. And they're very selective socially, right? So, so the Hanged Man in the near future, again, introspection, really carefully considering things, kind of feeling like you're in suspension, maybe like, almost like maybe you feel like you can't make any moves right now. You can't make any big decisions, and you're just kind of waiting it out. Again, Virgos are very cautious and carefully consider every move that they make. Really don't do things impulsively. And in fact, when they do things impulsively, then they have anxiety over it. So, Six of Pentacles in reverse. Again, you're not being super generous right now. You usually are. But you're not being super generous right now because you're holding your money a little bit closer to your heart, right? I do feel like maybe you ended a relationship recently. Um, I feel like maybe that I'm getting a sense that maybe you ended it. Now there's a Six of Pentacles upside down, so it could have been more amicable. But I feel like maybe Virgos are the kind that they don't ghost people. Okay, they're very concerned about being polite, practical, and they are concerned about their reputation. They would never they they're the kind, and I say this about me too, like I would rather hurt somebody with the brutal truth than a lie. Like, I'm not going to placate you with a lie. I'm just going to give you the truth because I think that that's more kind in the end. And Virgos are very much like that. They will be tactful, but they can also just really give it to you straight because they don't want to be deceptive. They really want to they have a lot of integrity. So, and something to be admired, really. Um, eight of wands. So they've there's doesn't seem like there's communication really anymore. Their generous communicative nature is really cut off. It's in suspension. They have paused that. And then the Tower upside down. So, here's the thing. It could have been a messy, horrible breakup, but instead, um, the Tower upside down is kind of like saying it could have been big, okay? But instead, it's, instead of the whole building collapsing, it was like the top two floors, right? So, um, instead of complete catastrophe, it's, a remodel. So, and that's kind of what you're doing right now. You're remodeling. You're focusing on yourself, your finances, and building up that stable environment so you can move forward. And probably not focusing on relationships right now, but just really focused on yourself. This Knight of Swords coming in. Also, Virgos, you should know that's when people become the most attractive, when they're really focused on themselves and not worried about relationships. So you're likely pretty attractive to people right now. So you might be getting some offers. This Knight of Swords very well could be that, but also, the Knight of Swords is a very fast moving energy, can sometimes be messages. So Page of Swords upside down, that kind of I almost feel like maybe you felt like this person wasn't emotionally mature or ready for a deeply emotional commitment. And so you're like, I'm just going to cut it off. Three of Pentacles upside down. I think you had some worry that there might have been somebody else involved, and you really are a one on one type of person. And if you're not a one on one type of person, you felt like they were giving too much to the other things in their life and not enough to you. Like maybe they had other commitments they were giving too much to, where there was other people, including other relationships, which could have been platonic, family, or maybe, other romantic interests, but definitely not enough to you, right? Maybe this is a Three of Pentacles, so maybe they were working too much, focusing on that too much, and not enough on you. Because again, Virgos carefully consider giving their heart to someone. They don't just impulsively do that. Eight of Pentacles upside down. Yeah, I think this person worked a lot, and focused on that. And maybe there wasn't, with the Page of Swords upside, or the Page of Wands upside down rather, they were not communicative enough, or maybe they weren't deep enough. It was maybe too shallow. um, King of Swords upside down tells me it was probably too shallow, and maybe you felt like they weren't completely honest with you, right? Maybe a little deceptive. And 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 Two of Wands upside down, so the partnership just did not feel equal to you, right? It wasn't here. It's upside down. So I'm sorry about that. It seems like, you were really, again, when Virgos give their heart, right? It's really completely. And so, I sense some disappointment. Ace of Pentacles, and then you have Ace of Cups right on top of it. Ace of Pentacles is like, it's the it, okay, if you're gonna win the lottery, and you're about to get your, if you're gonna win the lottery in a week and you get your tarot read, this is the card that would show up, right? Unexpected good fortune. It's like the fortune cookie says, these are your winning lottery numbers, and they really are, right? um but this really could be unexpected good fortune. It really could be. It doesn't always have to be money. It could be land. It could be you've gotten a big promotion. It could be all kinds of material things, or it could also be a relationship if you view a relationship as a value, right? But in this case, I really do think it is money. It could be an investment. It could be getting a loan. It could be all kinds of things. But regardless, it is a resource coming in, as well as the Ace of Cups. So Ace of Cups right on top of the Ace of Pentacles. Now, two aces together very much indicates, one and one is two. And, there's the Strength card right on top of that. That's a Leo energy. It's also an eight, and eights are always balance, right? And twos are balance. So I think that's indicating that there's a balance coming up, which is interesting because Justice is on the bottom of the deck, and that's a balance. Always, Justice is, at least in tarot, is always a balance, and underneath that is the Death card, which is a change. So you are creating that balance. You are bringing those things closer to you, by making some changes in your life that you felt like you were needed. Can I get another card on the Ace of Cups, please? Thank you, Spirit Guides, Angels, and Ancestors. Can you please guide my Virgos? I am getting kind of a moon in my scrying bowl over here. I feel like maybe you've been up late, maybe having some insomnia lately. You might be drawn to the moon. It could be Cancer energy too, but it's real blue. I mean, it's also, around full Leo full moon, but you got Four of Cups upside down. So you're like, meh, Scarlet, come on. That Ace of Cups isn't for me. I don't have any options right now, but that's your feeling. You're feeling like I'm not really interested in that. I really don't want to focus on my cups right now. My cups feel empty. But then you have a full cup, but the Ace of Cups and the Four of Cups together are Five of Cups, and that's disappointment. So you're very, very disappointed with love right now. And you're like, I don't want it. I really want to focus on me. You want to focus on the cup you have in your hand and getting it full again so that you feel energized. So, I see you getting revitalized in whatever way that means to you. That could be nutrition, exercise, education, going on a trip, hanging out with friends, whatever it is for you to revitalize yourself. Um, Angel, spirit guides, and ancestors, thank you. Can you please clarify the chariot for my Virgos here, please? Thank you, angels, spirit guides, and ancestors. Can you please guide my Virgos? Thank you, angels, spirit guides, and ancestors. Can you please guide my Virgos? I do get a lot of just a feeling of a lot of Cancer energy in this reading. So, I don't know if you were connected with a Cancer, or if it's just this full moon. Moons have a lot of Cancer energy. I mean, I know it's a Leo moon, but I kind of keep seeing this blue shiny orb over there in the water, and that might, Virgos can get real moody whenever they feel rejection in a way. I mean, all of us can. We all have a little bit of rejection sensitivity, right? But Virgos tend to, because they are very carefully consider who they give their heart to, they take that a little differently. There's an innocence and a playfulness in Virgos, and when they get close to someone, that's when they get silly and ridiculous. They don't really do that with everybody, right? So you've got the Magician on top of that. So it's like, in a way, you feel like you were played, okay? You just feel like somebody was just played you. And you're moving away from that. You're moving away from the tricks and the lies and the deception. Seven of Wands on top of that. So you're guarding your heart. You're guarding. Seven of Wands is about defending. Knight of Pentacles upside down. Knight of Pentacles is slow. He moves slow. This one's upside down. So again, I really feel like that's more about your money than a person. But it's a slow moving message towards you is actually what I'm getting. And you feel like you're not doing the right things or using the right skills. Like your mastery with money is not so great. And so you're kind of defending what you've got. Okay, but you do have two sevens here. And, two sevens together, sevens are generally lucky, right? The Page of Pentagrams is right side up on the bottom of the deck. And so it's almost like I need to relearn some skills with money. Maybe I need to go back to the drawing board. Virgos love to learn. Four of Pentacles, what did I say? You're holding it close. You're not spending it the same way that you were. You're budgeting differently. You're being a little miserly, as they say, but miserly in a good way. Just cautious, really, is what that means. And here's that moon. Here's the moon, right? That can mean hidden, but I think in this way it's just talking about maybe your mood. Queen of Pentagrams, that's Taurus energy, but also I think that that's just you're being money minded right now. That's what you're thinking about instead of the relationship. I think this is almost in a way you're focusing on this instead of, I don't want to say broken heart. I don't know that it's broken heart. I think it's bruised. I think that you maybe held your heart close to you instead of, I don't want to say that you weren't all in. I don't want to disrespect you like that. you probably were all in, but you're also somebody who, Virgos generally have a pretty good sense of who they are. They're grounded, they're earth, but Mercury is also their, you know, under that planet. And so they're thinkers. And so they can be really practical and logical. I mean, again, they're Spock, right? So they're much more guided by thought than emotion in a lot of ways, but that emotion is deep within them. So, I'm just feeling like maybe you haven't dug all the way down into that yet, or maybe you just are like, okay, that wasn't the right one, or we'll see what happens, right? So let's clarify that first grouping up here, where I kind of want to put some cards on the Hierophant, um, to see if that is, learning or a relationship. Um, so thank you, Spirit Guides, Ancestors. Listen to your intuition. Time to move forward. This also could be your spirit guides. This is the Adele Hello from the Other Side card. So spirit guides, angels, ancestors, you know, someone from your past has a message. Yeah, actually, that also could be, the person that you were with that they really want to message you, um, and feel like they can't because of what happened. Maybe you all said we're not gonna message. Also says this could be your twin flame. So if there was a separation, that's kind of what happens with twin flames, is one chases and one runs. There's a lesson that has to be learned. It's kind of like you're there to teach each other a lesson in some ways. I mean, it kind of depends on, who you listen to about twin flame energy, but it can be very difficult. Okay. Well, let's just say that. Twin flames can be very challenging. Also with that is, the Quiet Riot Bang Your Head card. So I feel like maybe you were very patient with this person, and so, you got frustrated, and you were banging your head up against the wall, and you felt like you needed to do something different, right? So you had to like move forward out of that. So, um, let's clarify this home spot where you feel like your money is upside down and you're really trying to think clearly and differently about how to manage your money or to do something different with your money. A lot of your read is about that. And so I want to focus a little bit more on that. And so it says, Be Good. This is a song by Waxahachie. Um, and it's basically, it's honesty turns to humiliation. And so it's almost like you took stock of it and you're like, I really haven't been doing the right thing. And you take a lot of pride in your intellect and your ability to know things and understand things. And so maybe you're like, I haven't been doing this the right way. I need to go back to money school and figure out what I need to do better to take care of of myself and my stuff. I get a lot of independence out of you, and a lot of like, like you kind of like, your head is a comfortable place for you to be in. And so if your head is wrong about something, you're not comfortable with that. So, um, this can also mean too that maybe you were getting some best friend energy from somebody that you really had feelings for. That song has been called the love song without the love, which I thought was kind of cute. So, it's saying also, to focus on your soul star chakra. So that's spiritual wisdom. That's divine love, karmic blueprint. So I really do feel like there may be, you know, a little bit of karma there. Doesn't necessarily mean this was a karmic relationship. It also could be a false flame kind of energy, which, can really, that can really be frustrating because a lot of times we do meet several false flames before we meet the twin flame. But it's also a renewal. Okay, the Soul Star is about renewal. It's kind of like the Phoenix card in a lot of ways, where there's a death and a rebirth. So this very well could be you thinking about how you need to kind of relearn what to do with your assets. And I'm getting that much stronger that you're just really becoming a new you. You're you're dressing differently, or maybe taking back a version of yourself that you once were that you really liked, right? So this person is keeping tabs on you in some way. I don't know if there's still some messages happening, or if they're like looking at pictures of you or looking at old messages or something, or maybe even social media. But I mean, not that they're like obsessing about it, but they're just kind of reminiscing a little bit. Um, and so they do miss you, okay? They do miss you. Um, but there was some kind of agreement that there would be no communication or less communication. Um, you you said goodbye. This is Alice in Chains. Don't follow. Say goodbye. Don't hide from the problem, face it. Almost get like maybe this person was scared, or you were scared. One of you were scared, but I don't get that it's you. I mean, Virgos can be that way. They can be very cautious and fearful to give their heart away. So could have been either of the one of you. Connect to spirit. You need to get back in touch with yourself. I really feel like that's the direction you're going, though. You're getting back to you know, um, your value system and what's important to you. So, in the near future, remember you had this tower reversed, and and the strength card and the four of cups upside down. There's some Cancer, Scorpio, Pisces energy, and so that's emotional and intuitive. And and the thing is, I don't you may have a Cancer, Scorpio, Pisces attached to you, but there's, in a lot of ways, you might have that as one of as like your moon or a rising sign. And I think that that's actually saying that you're being emotional in it, but also very intuitive right now, so you're tapping into some other facets of yourself. Because I get that that's about you. I feel that you're really spending a lot of time with yourself, and really enjoying your own company in a lot of ways. Like, I get a good energy about that. Like, you're not sad about being alone. You're reaching out to people that are close to you when you need to. And this card, what is meant for you will not pass you by, it will find you. So you know that great stuff is meant for you, and you're ready for it, but you're patient, just like Virgos are. You're patient. Oh, look, earth signs. This could be somebody coming into your sphere right after saying what's meant for you won't pass you by. It very well could just be talking about, look, you're an earth sign, you're solid, you know yourself, you're self-aware. Um, and actually, I'll grab another card to clarify that. If it's somebody coming in, it says on there stable, grounded, practical, right? Which earth signs are Taurus, Virgo, Capricorn. We're stable, we're grounded, we're practical. you know we're not always impulsive. I mean, not that we can be. Although when we're impulsive, we all earth signs tend to go charging in like a bull. So let's look at these cards. So there's a black onyx card, so that's about grounding, which we just said. Shield against negative energy, determination, strong support. So you've got really good support around you, and that's really amazing. They miss you. That's not your energy. I mean, you do miss them, but you're not crying about it. You're busy. You're very busy. Both of you feel this way. I feel that from both of you. I like me better when I'm with you. That's the song by Love. Um, you felt like they could be the one. They inspired you in some ways to open up parts of yourself that you hadn't really opened up in a very long time, or maybe never had opened up those things before. And so, but again, I just get the sense that you're just not waiting around brokenhearted. I mean, you might be brokenhearted, but you're really not sitting around crying. You're doing things. You're being very practical about it, as you are, and doing things, staying busy, hanging out with people, doing social activities, doing things, getting out of your comfort zone even a little bit, maybe, but also comfortable being in your own company. So Virgos tend to be really healthy in that way because they're so practical. So let's read about this Three of Pentacles upside down. And this was that energy that I got that, maybe you felt like there was a third party or another partnership going on, that they weren't giving enough to you, maybe working too much. So let's read that. Thank you, spirit guides, ancestors, and angels. What do you see? I am not enough for you. I can never give you what you need. And actually, this says I deserve the best, but I think they think you deserve the best and they can't be the best. That's the feeling I get. You know you deserve the best, but I think they also know you deserve the best and that they can't be it, even though, you're practical. So you would have said, but I chose you. So why would you even question it, right? So I get that that would have been very frustrating for you. No wonder you were banging your head against the, quiet riot, bang your head, right? Like, how many times do I have to tell you? Because, Virgos can be just about as stubborn as a Taurus. So solar plexus chakra, energy powerhouse, right? You are healing from this. You're in your personal power. Here's that birth and rebirth. You might be noticing a lot of yellow lately, but this is sun energy. That's the sun, right? The sun in tarot is happiness. I mean, despite all of that, you might have some sadness, but you're having the sun. Moldavite, for them, you were both pretty life-changing for each other. This was a good experience for the two of you. It just, I have this sense that there was some timing that was off, and that it was transformative and a really, really deep connection. I think that you both opened up, some things in each other. You're having some ascension, and I'm just getting this like image of like, this phoenix rising from the ashes. Every time I see some of these cards, I just keep getting this image of you rebuilding yourself, and it's almost like a new you. Can I get some cards on this Ace of Cups, please? Thank you, angels, ancestors, and spirit guides. Can you please guide my Virgos? Tell them what is for their greatest good. Well, that's a lot of cards, but I'm going to take them because, oh, look, timing is off for us. Yeah, timing is off for us. That goes on that pile. Crown chakra. Whew. Angelic energy. Angelic gratitude. Violet is associated with the crown chakra. This is transformation. What did I just say? Transformation. I feel like this Ace of Cups is much more about you than it is about anybody else coming in. But I still think that you're because you're focusing on that, you're focusing on being the best you probably are really engaging and attractive right now. So it wouldn't shock me if there are people that are going to come in and want to be with you. However, I don't know that you care because, again, you're slow moving towards relationships. Now, you have great, deep relationships with other people. So, but gratitude, spiritual connection. So maybe you're working more on your spiritual life, deep in your faith, or exploring spirituality, maybe, different kinds of spiritual connection. Also, sit still, look pretty. Daya, call me HBIC. This is a divine feminine boss energy card. I mean, this is like, this is the Empress right here, everything. You're getting it all together. Call me HBIC, right? Me and my daughter love that song. There's a little bit of you that is afraid that there's some truth about you that you're afraid to face. Okay. Face it. I mean, you're that close anyway. You're very, very self-aware. But it's almost like you're afraid. I think that you intuitively know the truth, but you're afraid that you don't know it. Look to your friends for validation. You've got friends Virgos have friends that will tell them the truth because you value honesty and integrity. You have friends around you that will tell you absolutely honestly if you're lying to yourself or not. They'll tell you. Take a step back. This is the Humble card by Humble by Kendrick Lamar. You are humble, so it's not telling you to be more humble. What it's telling you is um, be confident and just take that step back. That's what Virgo does when they need to reset. They just take a step back and know your worth. Okay? Virgos know their worth, but they know it quietly, right? You don't need to prove anything to anybody but yourself, and you know that. You know who you are. Look, Virgo energy, the sapphire, and it says wisdom, faithfulness, guard against evil, loyalty, serenity, resistance to corruption, ward off pain, natural energy, mind and body. I mean, that's gold right there. Okay, no, it's sapphire. You're sapphire. Um, be careful of obsessing too much, okay? Because you all can get in your head and overthink and overanalyze. Let go of that negative attachment. There is, I feel like like you were already beating your head against the wall. Remember? You were banging your head, okay? Let it go. Walk away. Um, Stop now. Let it go. You did everything you could do. And if look, I have two Virgos very, very close to me. I promise you, you did everything you can do because Virgos are steadfast. They're loyal. They are problem solvers. They analyze. If there was anything that could be done, you would have figured it out. Promise. Okay, look, surface pressure. Encanto, right? Drip, drip, drip. No's a complete sentence. You drew the boundary, um, and the burden is done. The burden's done. You have different obligations now that you need to attend to. You can let that one go. That one's done. Um, all right, I'm really curious to know about this magician that's in reverse on this chariot because in some ways, this could very well be, I mean, it could be a lot of things. The magician is about magic. The magician is about skills. So I'm wondering, like, do you feel like, you weren't skilled in something? It's the opal Libra energy, so it's almost like you're lacking some confidence or something, or you're lacking balance. What is it that you all do? People please. Stop that. You don't need to do that. Step into your magical power. You don't need to do that. Don't stop believing, Journey. Don't stop believing. Come on. All the hope in the world. I also think that definitely this might mean you're going on a trip soon. This is about movement. I mean, it is by Journey, right? Hold on to that feeling. You have good things ahead of you. I mean, you have the Chariot. I feel like you're going on a trip. I really do. You've been thinking a lot about maybe this past person. I also think you've been thinking a lot about your money to the point that you've had some insomnia and you can't sleep. I think it's both things. You've been thinking about your future. It's also like you have excitement and you're planning things and you can't sleep. Like there's a lot of things going on in your head. You are a Virgo, in fact, and you analyze and obsess about things and obsess about plans. You need a plan, an organization, right? Right now, you're thinking of that closet that you need to organize, right? Right? You're thinking about that pile of stuff in the corner or the laundry you didn't fold, right? Things need to be organized. You can live in kind of an organized chaos, but not for very long. You need your space to be organized so you can get things done. If there's clutter, if you work from home especially, there cannot be clutter where you're working, right? Gemini, Libra, Aquarius, thinkers, communicators, doers. Or if some of you are cuspers with Libra, this might be the time for you to think about communicating and doing rather than being in your head. Okay, that's what I'm getting, is it's time for action rather than being in your head. Communicate to people. Bring people in on these plans. Have them help you with it, okay? Don't just sit and think about it, but do, 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 do. It's time for action. You've got the Chariot. You've got journey, path, right? Also, I almost feel like maybe you've been in your survival instinct. So you've been thinking and going through the motions of things. And maybe you've been in a little bit in your fight or flight, right? Fight, flight, freeze, or fawn, right? But I think that you're I'm getting a lot of fight and flight here. Um, maybe you've been hiding, maybe you've been fawning, I don't know, but you're also like, this is hematite, right? So it's balance, yin and yang, grounding and protection, magic. You have the magician upside down. It's time to put your war paint on. It's time to step into that power, strength and character. It's also an Aquarius Aries card, so it could, there might be people that are important to you that are Aquarius or Aries. It's also protection from negative. You might feel like there are some people coming after you, so maybe you need to do some protection magic, or, hematite's good for that, but also, just grounding yourself. Also want to clarify this Knight of Pentacles that's in the reverse. So thank you, Spirit Guides, Ancestors, and Angels. Can you clarify the Knight of Pentacles for me? Scorpio energy, that's Topaz. Resolution, overcoming obstacles, clarity. So I think it's speeding up, so the Knight of Pentacles, the Knight of Pentacles is kind of a slow energy and he's upside down. So maybe that's just saying you're coming out of it. It's also, you have the the Seven of Wands, and I said maybe you're putting down the resistance to moving forward. Because again, Chariot, fastest moving card in the tarot deck, right? On the bottom of the deck, you've got the endless nature of energy cannot be created or destroyed. But I think in a lot of ways that you've got a lot of energy right now. I think that's what this is saying, right? You're boundless. You always have magic. You just have to know it. It's right there. Underneath that, I think this is cool. It's right underneath it. True north. I took the road less traveled by, and it's made all the difference. You have a path, and you know what it is. You have a divine purpose that's connected to your magic, your particular individual magic. And, you know what that is. You know what that is. So I want to draw a animal totem for you after I get these out of the way. I really do think that your money is gonna get lined out. You are creating your own stability. That you don't really actually bringing somebody into that kind of terrifies you, because you're like Taurians, you regardless of gender or relationship status, you're the provider. You always have to have a stable base to feel comfortable. And so it's very, very important to you to know where your money is and where it's going. So, but I would say always be open to love. I mean, allow yourself some healing, but always be open for that. Thank you, Spirit Guides. Ooh, that one, you had a couple jump out. We're gonna look at them both. You've got the hawk, healing, vision, rebirth, and spirituality. So lots of legends associated with the hawk. Healing, freedom, vision, rebirth. So in Egyptian mythology, Isis, the goddess of abundance and fertility, assumes the shape of a hawk as she gives birth to her son Horus, who then dies and is reborn, much like the phoenix that we were talking about, right? And I think that's you right now, definitely. She also becomes a hawk to join her husband Osiris in the underworld. And in Native Americans mythology, we associate the hawk with potent magic and use those feathers in healing rituals and in ceremonies to bring rain. I really feel like you should be maybe paying attention to feathers. Interestingly enough, the other one is scarab. So Egyptian stuff might be popping out to you right now, regeneration. What were we just talking about? You are definitely in a rebirth right now. You are reinventing yourself or rebirthing or going back to a version of yourself that you really love. I mean, so the scarab symbolized the powers that governed the celestial bodies. A great scarab was thought to roll the sun across the sky. This belief arose from the scarab's habit of shaping a piece of ox dung into a ball into which it laid its eggs and rolling it about, generally from east to west. Scarab like jewels were often placed in tombs of deceased relatives to give them the power of the sun and to facilitate their resurrection, right? You are reinventing yourself. Absolutely. And I think that's beautiful, beautiful, beautiful that you are reinventing yourself. I'm also going to pull 3 runes for you. So we've got Jira, Dag, and Othel. So I'm going to tell you, those are very, very good, but there's going to be, with Othel, there's going to be a delay in that. So, but you're a Virgo, so there's always a delay in things because you take your sweet time. So, I like to go to the extended versions of these because, so you've got Jira and Dag and Othel. So Othel is about possessions, okay? So it can indicate one who's consumed by an ideal or vision, maybe one inspired by the past. So you might be looking back into your past. Maybe you are looking into your ancestry. Maybe you are looking into your spirit guides or ancestors. It can also suggest help in the matter at hand from older people or perhaps old friends, and also can signify inherited traits. So it's definitely talking about inheritance and traits and things like that. I love Dag, okay? Increase in growth. You've been worried about your money. This is also talking about, the growth within you too, this rebirth. But it's an increase in prosperity. You know, you're worried about that. Here it is. There's no negative aspects with this rune at all. You have the inner strength to turn this situation around. You just have to utilize it. It is within you. You have the magic wand. So if there was a delay rune here, it would completely alleviate the delay. Okay. Now this rune is slow and steady. So it's like planting a seed and watching it grow. It's like the changes can be slow enough and incremental enough that it's like you've planted the seed and you're like looking at it every once in a while and it's like, I don't see anything changing. And then one day you look out and it's like, 6 inches tall or a foot tall or whatever, right? But it can have a lot to do with your attitude. You really, really need to understand that the power is within you. You need to have, it's kind of like you need to have the silver lining kind of attitude, right? So don't be in your head about that. Okay. You need to do the planning. Have joy, have social time with those people that you feel comfortable with and safe with and trust, right? This can be a major change in your life as well. You're not going to ever live your life the same way. Generally, when you pull Dag, it's like, what did we say? You're completely reinventing yourself in some major ways. And so, new starts, but also you need to make the best of the situation that you're currently in because there's these big changes are happening. Sometimes it could be through some outside source, somebody steps in, some new partnership or something like that. It also can talk about religious enlightenment. So if that's what you've been searching for, is some kind of spiritual rebirth as well, it can signify that. Jira. This Jira, now Jira often looks like this in the Norse runes, but this is more of what we would think of as the Anglo-Saxon Jira. So that's why it looks different. But it's harvest. Okay, remember I talked about planting the seeds, that slow movement forward. This is reward for efforts. Okay, again, reaping. Okay, good deeds, good karma, basically, right? Um, it can be a repayment for things done in the past. It also can mean like an inheritance, and it can mean justice is done, right? Um, there could be a legal matter that's happening, and it doesn't always signify that the legal situation turns in your favor, but that the most just thing happens for all parties, okay? Um, the harvest only comes after we expend a lot of energy, right? You have to go plant the seeds, you have to, take care of them and take care of the crops and all of those things, right? So things must come to fruit of their own good time, right? Um, so like if you were going through a divorce or whatever, um, there's a positive outcome, but it just takes a while. And anytime that you're going through some kind of justice situation or legal situation, that there's no big win in the courtroom. The most just thing happens, and so it doesn't mean that you're going to be like having a ticker tape parade or anything and winning some big medal. This is a very positive rune cast, though, so I'm just gonna say, um, you know, likely this means that you're going to have the Ten of Pentacles kind of situation, but it's just going to be slow. And remember, Pentacles are slow moving cards, right? Except for the Ace of Pentacles, that's kind of like the fastest moving pentacle. But even then, that one isn't always sudden, okay? I'm going to pull a couple of my fairy oracle cards because they're really cute and I just got them and I'm excited about them. I get a couple of fairy cards for my lovely Virgos. Thank you, spirit guides, angels, and ancestors. Can pull a couple of fairy cards, fairy dust cards for my Virgos. Alrighty. I wanted 3, I got 3. So, rainbows. Dax, shh. That's my little Jack Russell Dax. She's protecting us from the evil puppies outside. Rainbows. In our forest, no trees debate. Rainbows stand with love, not hate. So it's basically like, the pot of gold, the rainbow and the pot of gold, right? Look for the lovely things. Practice. After a while, you'll dance on air. Practice makes perfect. You're almost there. So, we were talking about learning, learning something new or practicing something to get better. Maybe you need to take a different strategy with your finances. I think this is where that's going. Virgos love to study, okay? And so maybe that's what you need to do is learn. It will rejuvenate you. And here, creative. Life is a canvas for you to use. Paint all the colors of happy mood. So it's really telling you to not be moody and not be in your head. So there's the creative card. And then on the bottom of the deck, I always show the bottom of the deck. And again, it's talking, shake it off, shake it off. If you fall and others jeer, just shake it off and walk with cheer. So, maybe you need to put, the Taylor Swift Shake It Off song or whatever song helps you to shake off, if you're getting in your head too much and maybe getting a little bit, um, bang your head or whatever. So thank you, Virgos, for hanging out with Lady Scarlet. I appreciate it. If the reading resonated with you, I hope that you like, share, subscribe, come back and see me. And I hope that I see you soon. Have a wonderful day.